His fiancée conceived, they married. At the back of the reception hall lurked a KGB photographer. He moved in with his wife's family, in a flat opposite the Golosievsky Park, where his father-in-law had put up palaces of cages for his dozens of canaries, an aviary of throbbing feathers darting against the backdrop of the park. Every time the doorbell rang, he would start, afraid that it was the KGB, and begin to burn any private letters and manuscripts that could possibly be used against him. The canaries beat their wings in a panic-stricken flutter. He rose at dawn, gently turned the Spidola radio to on, pushed the dial to shortwave, wiggled and waved the antenna to dispel the fog of jamming, climbed on chairs and tables to get the best reception, steering the dial in an acoustic slalom between transmissions of East German pop and Soviet military bands, pressed his ear tight to the speaker, and, through the hiss and crackle, made his way to the magical words, "This is London. This is Washington." He was listening for news about arrests. He read the futurist poet Vladimir Khlebnikov's 1921 essay, Radio of the Future, in which Khlebnikov predicts that radio will forge the unbroken chain of the global soul and fuse mankind. The net closed around his circle. Grisha was taken to the woods and roughed up. Olga was accused of being a prostitute and locked up in a VD clinic with actual prostitutes to make the point. Geli was taken to remand prison and refused treatment for so long that he died. Everyone prepared for the worst. His mother-in-law taught him a secret code based on sausages. If I bring sausages sliced right to left, it means we've been able to get out news of your arrest to the West, and it's been broadcast on the radio. If I slice them left to right, it means we failed. It sounds like something out of an old joke or a bad film, but it's nevertheless true, he would write later. When the KGB comes at dawn and you mumble drowsily, "Who's there?" they often shout, "Telegram." You proceed in semi-sleep, trying not to wake up too much so you can still go back to a snug dream. "One moment," you moan, pull on the nearest trousers, dig out some change to pay the messenger, open the door. And the most painful part is not that they have come for you, or that they got you up so early, but that you, like some small boy, fell for the lie about a telegram. You squeeze in your hot palm the suddenly sweaty change, holding back tears of humiliation. At 8 a.m., on September the 30th, 1977, in between interrogations, their child was born. My grandmother wanted me to be called Pinhas, after her grandfather. My parents wanted Theodore. I ended up named Pyotr. One of the first of several renegotiations of my name. 40 years have passed since my parents were pursued by the KGB over the simple right to read, write, and listen to what they chose, and say what they wanted. Today, the world they hoped for, where censorship would fall like the Berlin Wall, can seem much closer. We live in what some academics call an era of information abundance. But the assumptions that underlay the struggles for rights and freedoms in the 20th century, between citizens armed with truth and information, and regimes with their censors and secret police, have been turned upside down. We now have more information than ever before, but it hasn't brought only the benefits we expected. More information was supposed to mean more freedom to stand up to the powerful. But it has also given the powerful new ways to crush and silence dissent. More information was supposed to mean a more informed debate, but we seem less capable of deliberation than ever. More information was supposed to mean mutual understanding across borders, but it has also made possible new and more subtle forms of conflict and subversion. We live in a world of influence operations run amok, where the means of manipulation have gone forth and multiplied. A world of dark ads, psyops, hacks, bots, soft facts, fake news, deep fakes, brainwashing, trolls, ISIS, Putin, Trump. 40 years after my father's interrogations by the KGB, I find myself following the palest of imprints of my parents' journey, though with none of their courage, risk-taking, or certainty. As I write this, and given the economic turbulence, this might not be the case when you read or listen to it.